Alright, let's take a look at the playing of the great Albert King. Albert King is one of the most fiercely individual guitar players in any style of music. Part of the reason for that is he took a right-handed guitar and turned it upside down and played lefty without restringing it so that the strings are upside down. The thin strings are on the bottom here where the bottom strings normally are, and then the heavy strings go where the top strings usually are. Additionally, he would tune his guitar down 1.5 steps, making the strings very slinky and easy to bend, because string bending is a major ingredient in Albert King's style. Albert King was born Albert Nelson in 1923. Like Beebe, he was also born in Mississippi and also claims T-Bone Walker as his greatest influence. Like both of those guitar players, Albert's style is earmarked by call and response between his vocal lines and expressive vocal-like phrases on the guitar. Albert King's style is deceptive in that it sounds way simpler than it really is. One way to discover that is to stand there and try to emulate Albert's solos along with his recordings, and you see how complex his lines really are. And the reason for this is he has an incredible stockpile of licks and phrases that he relies on, and he finds hundreds of different ways to connect them, always in a very musical and inspired way. Another part of his style is bending the strings very large amounts, either 1.5 steps, 2 whole steps, 2.5 steps, and sometimes he will bend and strike more than one string at a time, getting a very aggressive sound. And this string bending technique, so much a part of his style, greatly influenced Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan and many other guitar players. And you hear guitar players like Jimi and Stevie emulate Albert King in that way all the time. Albert never used a pick. He always picked with his fingers, most often using his thumb and coming down very hard on the strings to get a very expressive and massive tone. He used relatively light gauge strings and is known for playing Gibson Flying V style guitars. He did have a 58 Carina V that he used in the early years, and then in later years he had a series of custom-made Vs that he would use all the time. For amplification, in the early years he used Fender amps, but through the 70s was known for using either very large acoustic amps or Roland Jazz Chorus amplifiers, and occasionally he would use an MXR Phase 90 phase shifter. Albert King was a master at playing slow blues, and one of his greatest recordings is his version of Blues Power from the album Live Wire Blues Power. This next example is a slow blues played in the key of G, wherein I emulate some of the phrases that you can hear on that classic recording.